Hello friends, it's Phil. So you want a perfect lawn, a perfect fine English lawn. Well, there are a few problems that we all come across when trying to grow a fine lawn. Today I'm at one of the GrassMaster's lawns. It's a local one, so I thought I'd come and visit, and I'm going to show you a few of the problems that it's got. We're going to tour around the lawns, and I'm going to just explain what was done first, and then we're going to tour around the lawns again and tell you where all the problems lie. So this lawn last year, from what Jim tells me, was more or less a flower bed. And if we look across there's a hedge, there's a nice pine there, and there is a lovely tree there that will shed loads of leaves. So this was one area that was a flower bed. Oh, and by the way, if you have any of these plants in your garden, front or back, can I recommend, unless you're an absolute fan of Kerrick's pendula, I suggest you lose it. Actually, and keep in mind that if you were to pop out those few plants there, you're going to be putting best part of a skip's worth of plants in a skip. Anyway, so this is the once was a flower bed lawn. Onto this lawn. This was a lawn that was in pretty bad condition from what Jim tells me. He's reseeded it. And along this flank here, this was a flower bed alongside the perimeter of the house. So that's 6-month-old new lawn. This lawn, as you can see, it's a sunny day, which is unusual, but you can see that this lawn is largely in shade, and therefore will present some problems. If we come down here where the grass has failed, you can see that the grass is very, very thin. And actually, if you do look at your lawn on a sunny day, it can tell you an awful lot about the problems that you're going to have. So you see the sun shadows on that lawn. Well, we can certainly guess where we think the good bits of the lawn are going to be, and we can also probably consider where the bad bits are going to be. So at this point, the important thing is that it's fair to say that every lawn has different stories to deal with, and to some extent, being a GrassMaster, you have to unpackage, let's say, the story of your lawn. If you want to know more about the GrassMaster program, which is something that was launched gently last year, but is being gently scaled out by me this year, then you can find some information about the GrassMaster program in the description. Oh, by the way, it's on my website. Let's go and have a look. Anyway, let's get back to the... Right, so the main problem with this lawn, and let's just say one of the things that you can't see now, but was very evident until very recently, was all of the leaf fall from the said tree over there, and this tree here, this cherry blossom, Prunus Kansan, I think, a half standard, don't you know? A lot of the leaf fall was left on the ground, and that will have done an absolutely top job of killing off the grass. Similarly, this conifer that's around the perimeter of the garden will have very shallow roots and will be nipping out any of the moisture that would have been here during the season. So the grass has kind of failed where there's shade, where there's roots, and where there's probably been leaf fall. Now the other thing is, along this edge you can see some inconsistencies along the driveway, and that largely to do with the with Jim and his wife driving on the lawn Let me just show you a thing. We assume that some of this damage or this lack of grass is to do with someone driving on the lawn, but let me just show you that actually there is absolutely no topsoil. You can see by digging it, it's even lifting up the little bit of soil that's there, and the chances are, well, the chances are not, it's not chances actually. The simple fact is grass will not grow successfully in 4 centimeters of soil. It does a combination of two things. One is it doesn't grow very well and dies, and secondly, if it's a little bit more successful, the roots get scorched during the hot periods. In effect, the grass gets destroyed from the bottom up. What's underneath here is the spread, let's say, of the driveway. So when the driveway was installed, the width of the driveway is wider. Let's have a feel. So it's wider by what, 300 mil than the actual driveway. So if you look along the driveway, you can see there are patches where the grass isn't growing, where there is just simply no soil underneath. What can you do about it? Be very, very attentive when you have your driveway installed is the answer. We'll go on to this lawn, which looks from a distance like it's in pretty good nick. It was fed about 3 weeks ago. The feed's just kicking in. The ground temperatures are still very low. So there's a long way to go with this. But once again, there is inconsistencies that are unquestionably to do with what's underneath. And I shall show you again. If I poke here, you can see that the soil's lifting. The soil there being 5 centimeters deep. Here it's sort of 5, 6, 7 it's in. Well, let's just say as you go along, where all the inconsistencies are, I don't know why that bit's there. I think someone must, I think Jim said he left something on parts of this leaf fall, I suspect. But once again, where it's dead is the soil. The root zone is above the a load of ballast, basically MOT, driveway, haunching, whatever we call it. It's there, so you really will struggle to get grass to grow with these types of conditions. What can you do? Well, what you can simply do if you're very keen and you treat it as a project is that you would dig out, say about half a metre wide, strip it out, and then you'd basically get there and you'd dig it out, and then you'd basically dig out the ballast down to about 100 mil at least. Will the driveway move? I don't know, you'll have to take a look at that. But really just have to dig it out to get to 100 to 150 mil of soil, and then you will be able to successfully grow a lawn right up to the edge. But this is a really common problem when you have driveways installed and they're kind of maybe not given enough attention to detail in terms of the edging on the haunching. There is ways of doing it that doesn't create a massive width of ballast. A more sort of aggressive, I'll put an angle there, more aggressive haunching basically, that goes deeper and firmer but less wide, let's say. Friends, I hope some of that's been useful. It's kind of, quite often lawns are all about getting consistency, and if you renovate a lawn or recondition a lawn or reset a lawn, or however you choose to talk about it, once you've reseeded and dressed a lawn successfully and you've given it a good feed, it should, given some cutting, grow relatively consistently, right? Now, if it's not growing consistently, the one thing that you can certainly start to hunt for is the inconsistency in the root zone, the depths, the material. Obviously here, the biggest problem is the ballast MOT muck from the haunching of the driveway, but you might find that there is an awful lot of sand, and that will be leaching the nutrients from the lawn, or just incredibly poor soil. So anyway, excuse me, I've got a really bad cold that has followed the really bad cough. But anyway, I'm going to do one last tour of the lawns. You can have a little look around. If there's any questions you'd like me to answer about the video or the content, please do ask if there are any questions at all. And if you find this video useful, I will be doing sort of more technical challenges, let's say, on lawns throughout the season. So hit subscribe, and if you like the video, if it's useful, then that'd be great as well. And one last request: if you're an avid lawn or lawn fanatic in the making, then why not sign up to my lawn service? That'd be great. Cheers.